Garpy, this is a step forward. He loves to frag, and he's such a good damage dealer, but he focused on the objectives and made sure the shield was used at the opportune moment.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I was speaking a lot to Zach, who's their team manager, and the basic way in which you can go is that they're all TDM orientated, which is all about the frag, and you need to stay focused on the objective and stay focused on what your role is. And Garpy's role when he plays the clutch, it sounds really boring, but it's grab the time shards, get your shield up, and coordinate an attack. And if you can do that, you then have everyone on the same wavelength, and you can just break down these teams that should technically be superior to you across the board.
Exactly. Now, I'm looking, well, actually, we're going to be going into the game in a moment. Have something to say about NOTOFAST. I think there was a small ritual going on there between the players, but we are starting on Faz. We have got a few moments until that Soul's going to be spawning, but he, of course, is going to be the Sorlag player. I don't think I've seen any snail bearers yet, though, unfortunately.
I'm done with this card. I'm done with this card.
The souls come out and see who's going to be able to grab that one. Oh, well, Dan recovers. It is Hell actually managing to get on the point first.
I apologize profusely. I'm maintaining my professionalism. We're following Slash.
Good job.
Thank you.
That's actually, I love that jump. Look at that. That was excellent from him. I mean, it's not giving them extra points or anything, but he gets style points. And those are important. Look at what Garpy's doing there.
No.
Okay, well, the shield looked interesting.
Okay, either way, myztro were doing well, but there was a 4-man very fast coordinated attack by NOTOFAST, and it was exceptionally done. And then just before you pointed out, they did cripple Garpy.
And Tox, of course, is going to be the mirror of Hell using Slash. What's funny is that they're both using Slash, the Quake 4-like champions, and they've met each other at massive tournaments in Quake 4, so I wonder if there's going to be sort of a slash-off of some strange way between the two of them.
I would love to even know what that meant.
Yeah, I mean, just use your imagination at this stage. Wow, myztro just got a whole heap of kills. Hypno popping off with the Sorlag himself.
This is pretty crazy, and again, like I said, I think when it's crazy, that doesn't favor NOTOFAST. Their champions are not really built for that, and the way in which they play the game is you have to be strategical. So it's good. It's good so far. I'm confident for myztro.
Well, Vu managed to snatch the soul for just a second.
Power ups now. Stymie's already there, and he's alone. That's really bad.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, it looked like they weren't even present at all, but maybe it's just because of the work that NOTOFAST did beforehand that helped them so much. And look at that, all the work with the protection. Faz is going to be able to get it in the end. He's got such a massive stack working as Sorlag, and will secure a few more percentage points for the 5 seconds left of that protection he's got.
Yep. Once that's down, then myztro can start thinking about coming back into the game again, all based around what Garpy can do with his clutch and the shield. Until then, it's just objective don't die unless you're Vu, who...
He just wanted to get as far as possible with that. And he's like, I know I'm going to die from the Acid Spit. I've got no injection up or anything. I've just got to absolutely go for it while I can.
Exactly. The Anarchy is one of the champions that's not exclusively necessary in these attacks. It's the other 3 that have to do the groundwork.
Well, Toxic just got 3 rail frags, and I'm pretty sure he got 2 in 1 as well beforehand. So that was...
average.
Insane. Not a word that you associate with Tox.
Nice.
Tox is here, trying to get rid of Vu's Anarchy, doing so successfully, winning the Anarchy wards.
Yeah, that's an interesting one for me, because Anarchy, I mean, obviously look at it, it's not a straight one-on-one, but they both play exceptional, and I've been really impressed with Vu today. He did carry a little bit towards the end of last game, so he needs to be on form if they're going to win.
And there was Hell there, just getting the plasma trail out of the way as well. And Soul is actually on the ground. I was wondering who's actually eventually going to pick that up. And that looks like Garpy, but he actually ends up passing it to an opponent. He had so little health left, couldn't move away, and he's just a huge target himself. And eventually would go down.
And NOTOFAST now getting set up. We've got the Sorlag getting set up, getting strong, and taking that mid-ground position.
Whoa, all went up. It is going to be Hell who gets the protection in the end. So they weren't so good on the first power-up, but much better work on this occasion. The air rockets that we're getting from Noctis, unbelievable. A stack is needed for Hell. 100 health, that will do something for him. But it's just a question, can he get away now? He's taken so much damage. Trying to slip out. Vu's going to take, sorry, Hypno actually, or should I also call him Gasper Ferreira Gomez de Azevedo Machado.
MC Zoot.
He should be successful in getting out. The protection has just ended, but 81% taken by NOTOFAST. myztro finally sort of break that and are going to be able to collect something themselves for about a minute and a half before the next power-up, at least, unless, of course, we get a crazy attack coming in from NOTOFAST.
Yep, and it seems like that has been successful.
Yeah, there it is. And now Faz going to be taking it. There's a little rocket jump in. There is the Mega above, which he's definitely looking at. Oh, his teammate's just taking it. He's so weak as well. Tries to throw it away. That's Hypno getting rid of him. And Toxic trying to pass that away, but I think it bounced back from the door or something along those lines. It's still on the floor. Faz takes it. And Garpy missed it with his clutch.
How? He's got such a big hitbox.
Oh no, the pummel.
That's nice.
I think it's on the floor still, isn't it? Or did he manage to throw it back somewhere? Oh no, it's on the point. Faz snuck in on that. Oh my days.
Just to prevent it being ticked, and now myztro in a little bit of trouble.
They need to get an attack going on this first round of the series if they want to see themselves.
There's not enough time for the power up either, so even if Garpy's shield's not up, they just have to push in.
They've got Garpy on there. Garpy's going to try and escape with this. He's got Sturmy. He brings it back immediately, so there should be little happening. We're looking for a team wipe right now. Vu is on the point, trying his best to dodge, and we've got Hypno coming at the top. He just about resets the timer. We've got a couple more seconds. Hell, he's going to get a touch on it. Are there any more champions from myztro? So finally, Sturmy eliminates the attackers.
That positioning at the end there by NOTOFAST, not in the previous seconds before, that was perfect. You had at least 2 on the upper level, just raining down damage, and everyone trying to get on the point. And when that's happening, you're just a duck, really, a sitting duck. You're just flying into damaging. It's just
And at that point, though, they were just attacking one at a time, just because they had to reset it.
I completely agree, but NOTOFAST obviously understood exactly what was coming at them and just set up perfectly.
Well, there's going to be round 2 here of Lockbox, NOTOFAST's map pick. Let's see what happens here as we get onto the first soul of this round.
Nice.
And that's Sturmy managing to pick that one up, but he is so weak. He's trying to throw it somewhere. Does quickly pass over to a myztro player. Hell taking it and does eliminate Faz, but there's more people chasing him. It's Tox, Anarchy player. Noctis eventually.
Sturmy's timing on the Ghost Walk into power-ups into Soul is always spot on. He's obviously got it down to the millisecond of how long that Ghost Walk lasts, because there is no inbuilt timer to see that. So it's all down to your own intuition and natural timing ability, which is just perfect so far.
Now it's just kind of load up the defense in the minute before the power up. This is actually a fairly good attack from Hell. Very good. They've actually eliminated a few players here. The others are playing in mid, and we've got Vu. He's got to try and find a route out now that he's holding the soul.
And we've seen today that the slash has been the revelation in Sacrifice.
It's been very good. I don't think it's played on every single map. You might see a little less of it on Burial Chamber, but the other maps are a very popular pick. Noctis, they've only managed to get a couple of percentage points on myztro before NOTOFAST are straight back on it and are bringing the soul back to their base.
Yep, but they're all pretty low.
Whoa. Vicious rails there.
Very vicious. Pretty chaotic at the moment.
Yeah, and I think that's Tox in the end getting it. Rails coming out. Oh, he's going to miss the next one. Trying to do a bit of damage. Vu eventually gets the pummel, but is taken down by Faz immediately. And that attack will be dropped dead there. We've got a couple of seconds now to the first power-up of this round. Oh, Hell's just pushed off. Who's going to get it?
It's the clutch.
Nice.
And it's a tanky clutch at that. But it is quad, and quad is not the most useful of power-ups. It's better than having no power-up, particularly on a clutch when you're just going to die like that. It's really not that particularly useful.
Yeah, if he maybe had a different weapon.
Yeah, if he did a different weapon, but it's very good on champions like Anarchy that are quick, difficult to hit, so you can fly around the map and do insane damage and not lose it, which is the most important thing.
Yeah.
And they're just using it for defense. You can see that they're not particularly worried about actually using their power-ups' potential. But this is how they play. You can see them set up 2 in mid, 2 in base. How difficult is it to get in?
Vu manages to sneak in.
This is the tactic.
But where's the teammates?
Oh, it's no one's
He
there.
went down fast. He was on his own, so there's not much he could do, and he's just used his shield. I mean, there's going to be nothing there.
I was about to say that puts you back about 45 seconds to a minute, and that could almost be gained because it was just a wasted attack. They just needed to hold on, and it's tough when it's ticking up so fast, but they just needed to hold on and use that shield properly. And now that again, it's a mixture of frustration and desperation as they're just running in one by one, and we have three. And we have three of NOTOFAST sitting in mid. They've all backtracked now, but there were three in mid. That's devastating when they're trying to push in.
Yeah, Toxic, he's pushing out, trying to make something happen. In the end, it's just this plasma trail, and it allows Hell to get in a bit. So Vu, maybe that over-aggression from Tox where he died, he lost position for the team.
Woo! That is star points.
That's it, because they're not getting many other points at the moment, so they need to get something right now. This hasn't been working out for them. Great rail shot there by Vu. And at least they have, there's no 100 zeros happening for them. Like we saw one on the 2Z game last time round on Ruins of Sarnath.
myztro just get out. That was actually a bit of mistime from Sturmy, using his Ghost Walk 2 earlier.
Unusual.
Yeah.
Now, Hell with the quad, he needs to get back. Looking good actually with his weapon selection as well, and rockets he would love to get at this stage. Amazing damage.
Powerful, powerful machine gun.
Of course, you can't use the lightning gun, although he's got it at this range, because it's just not going to reach them at all. So machine gun will work well, and as soon as they move on to that point, is that right? LG out, use that quad. Quad now gone, and they're collecting points slowly but surely.
This is good. There's no rush from NOTOFAST. They can sit back. They've got a lot of time to play with, and now you can see all rushing in at once.
Wow, that move there by Faz with the Sorlag, the acid to get on the upper level was really nice actually.
That was so well played from everyone. We weren't able to see it on stream from the pod, but it was Sturmy drew all attention away and then popped the Ghost Walk. And that drew all of myztro out of position, and then Snorlag ran in and finished everyone off.
Don't say it again.
I'm not going to.
I hope no, he does manage to bring it back, although it was an amazing attack. The follow-up down to mid wasn't as good. And look at that, Tox just moved past the plasma trail, just seems to go on forever through the speed that he's able to get. Now Noctis does get the point, but he's alive not even long enough to get the throw. I think Sturmy follows up after him, goes through the teleporter to go to the upper area, and there's a load of myztro players in mid. Sturmy checking the way, he's like, is it safe? Doesn't feel safe.
Nice and calculated, which is good, because he obviously has no communication from his team on where everyone is, and he's waiting for backup, so that's perfect play.
The sneaks into the upper entrance of the map. We have got some myztro players moving in. They're on 83%. Wow, he gets bounced off. Ooh, he almost dies. Okay, Garpy making a move. He's got the shield, trying to block off a little bit, and I think they picked up the sulfur just a moment. However, we have got, is it going to be protection or quad? Okay. It is, and that is big. Protection.
Flash, which is good. He missed the heavy armor.
I think he just wants to get in at this stage, it feels like. He's done some good damage with that shotgun, actually. He didn't get the kill himself, but he set up his teammate perfectly for himself. He needs to get out of here. He's taking damage, which is really slowing down his movement, and he can die. Protection's not in vulnerability at the end of the day. Teammates are right behind him, loving the coordination at the moment. Oh, the movement jitters a little bit for Hell, but he does get back onto the Soul and is making this very competitive. You can see the myztro players on the kill feed on the left, fragging nicely against NOTOFAST and getting to almost 60% now.
Managed to clean up, which is nice, but again, because of that high-level positioning, all of NOTOFAST are on the lower levels, which again severely limits the damage output and makes them vulnerable.
I think that was a little early on the plasma trail maybe for Hell, but obviously, you know, as nothing and no one attacked during that period, can't say too much.
Nice.
I think Garpy, he just died. He's probably going to want to save his next shield for any more attacks he needs to do. There's no point using it defensively at this point in the match unless they get to sort of 90-95.
Yeah, but at the same time, they can't afford to lose this point. If they lose it and they can't redeem it, it's obviously GG, so...
And the 30 seconds till the power up. Yeah. I wonder if that's even going to be able to use it. Look at that, there's 3 players set up to going in. I think they've been given the information that Faz is going down the bottom. Immediately fragged Faz. Garpy, he's in, he's got the shield on. You can just see it in the corner, but he's gone down 99%. Is that going to go to the 0?
No.
It absolutely will in the end. Now that's 7 minutes 50. That's going to be round 2 for NOTOFAST and allow them to get map number 1 in this second round game for the regionals.
It was close. The second round was close. And again, that would definitely give them some heart to think about where they went wrong. And it was just that the way they lost that round again was right at the very start, just going in time after time without any really coordination. Just a little bit of silliness coming out of the side of myztro, and it cost them in the end.
Yeah, completely. They really need to... Well, because when they do have a coordinated attack, there's no doubt that they've got the fragging capabilities to get stuff done.
We saw how effective they were when their clutch is busting in and they're following up. It's a hit and run, and they do it very, very well. It's coordinated perfectly, but if you waste that opportunity with, say, when we saw Garpy just going in basically alone, it just sets the whole team back because your entire strategy is pinned on Garpy playing that role well and everyone based around that. You can't do it without it effectively.
Yeah. And I think it's also the way that the positions set up by NOTOFAST, they just seem maybe a little bit more secure, or maybe that when they are playing those positions, they're reacting well to the attacks. Where if a NOTOFAST player does something crazy to disrupt the positions of myztro, they seem to fumble a little bit more, and I'm not sure what their sort of follow-up plan is from there.
I'm thinking about it now, the way in which NOTOFAST defend and how effective they are in pushing out to mid. If you're pushing out to mid and challenging the attack before it even gets started, a strategy based around a clutch. If he goes in very weak, it makes it even more, it limits the potential even more. So that way in defending, again, puts even more pressure on myztro to do it effectively.
Well, coming up next for myztro's pick, we have got Ruins of Sarnath coming up. This was actually a map they ended up losing to Alliance. They had a great start on it.
Shouldn't have lost it then.
Yeah. I believe it's the one that they lost, and they went over and they won burial campgrounds or something along those lines. And
this is the one they won, I think, actually, 2-1.
Are you sure? You might be right. Excuse my...
I think this was the third map they lost.
You're absolutely right, actually, because they managed to get themselves in the right positions of clutch.
Yeah.
That's what they took at right at the end.
Exactly.
They did lose round, and the last round was very close, is what I remember.
Yeah.
And Garpy, that's where he was the star player. Yeah. He got the clutch, and it's when it's attacking the lower obelisk.
And you can throw the soul, you can throw the soul extremely well from each point because they're so close together. That makes a tactic like this even more effective because once you've stolen it, you throw it. And then Vu, they coordinate it perfectly. Vu is always waiting, and you know it's going to be map by lockbox, difficult corridors, constraints. So once you've stolen the soul, you have to go as a team together and escort it. You can't really just throw it and hope, and that makes a tactic that they want to use even more powerful again.
No, completely, and it's a slightly more open in some sense than lockbox, but you've still got that death trap area when it comes to the power up.
Yeah.
The damage that you can take, it's a huge cess going on when you get to the power up. The setup is very important. It's really, if you can get your 4 players there, and you can out frag, and you can get the right sort of abilities used and the timings, then that's what can lead to basically securing that power up. I think you've got to weigh it up with the priorities in terms of, well, have we got the point or haven't we got the point? How is our obelisk doing? And how close are we to losing or winning?
And on this particular map, again, NOTOFAST is going to be obviously very, very strong, but they're pushing out a defensive style, trying to push into mid and really secure an area, again, isn't as effective because it is so constrained. You can't take those offensive positions as easily. There's too many attack points. They would obviously want the higher vantage point with the obelisk, but whether they get that is obviously dependent on the initial starting points.
Absolutely, we are getting into game right now. It is map number 2, Ruins of Sarnath, picked by myztro. NOTOFAST just need to win this map to send themselves through. Garpy's going to go down. You know what? He's not going to be too bothered by that. He didn't use his ability, and he should still be able to get to the soul in good time.
And off it goes.
And Nox is very quick at getting there with the Anarchy. There's going to be a lot of players chasing, so actually, although they lost out on the first soul, this isn't bad because myztro still have the point that they wanted to get.
Yeah, this is definitely the point. I know for a fact myztro prefers that defensive point on point B. It's much easier to defend, so they're more than happy with what just happened.
Completely. And let's see, the soul disappeared into mid. It got thrown away. We can sit down at the bottom of the map by the railgun spawn. It is picked up by Vu. There's armor up, but actually he is going to go for it first. Yeah, he doesn't know who's up on point B because none of his teammates were there, so just buying time now. You can see through the the X-ray that there's so many of them right there, and the Mega's up. He might ask a teammate to pick it up for him.
I think he's taking the clutch to get it. Yeah, and then he's probably going to bust him with a shield.
And I think he's been, they just saw him. They know,
exactly
where
he is now, yeah. And here comes Slash. Rocket to the face.
All right, there was just a ghost walk used a moment ago, and boom, he manages to get back to the point.
That's actually, it looks simple, but it's a really difficult skill just to skid the soul on the floor like a footballer. Use your ability and pick it back up all in one when you're going 200 miles an hour.
Oh, exactly. And early lead, actually, for myztro. Soul's still there. There was a quick bum rush there from the NOTOFAST players, but we've got the power-ups to be careful of in sub 10 seconds at the moment, the spawning. Let's see who's going to grab that, because myztro, they want to turn their focus away from the soul and to this.
Poor Hypno, all alone.
Who grabbed that in the end? Oh, it's Sturmy. All right, he is taking a bit of damage, and they're going all over them. They really want to take this from him. Garpy with the rockets, he's doing decent damage, just can't do enough.
Kill him. Power of the protection.
That's crazy. And then Faz, he's managed to grab the soul in the meantime. He is running into enemy players. Sturmy, he's got some armor, but that low health with not many seconds left. The protection, although it's important, it hasn't done a great deal of work.
All of NOTOFAST are out of position.
Oh, the rail, just as he was trying to get on, he slipped with his movement a tiny bit. And I think that was, yeah, there's Tox now who's grabbed it instead. That's not going to work for you. Vu taking it. So much pressure coming out of Tox, though.
Now they should have secured the point.
It took a while, though.
It did.
NOTOFAST are going to have to try and settle this down a little bit. There's a long time until the powers come up. We're just trying to get some of that plasma trail to block off the choke point. And Garpy making attack. He's not going to be popping the shield at all. We've got Vu trying to get things done on his own, waiting for Garpy now to get. He's got his shield up. I think this would be a really good person to watch perform.
This is where they need to coordinate the attack. Don't die. Try and get one major item and then push in as 4.
He's losing so much health. And he's go down. Still going to be someone important to watch. I'm sure we'll find him at the point in a moment. Grabbed very briefly by Hypno. Hell, good switch across there.
But this is what we mean. With Garpy going in slightly too aggressive and dying, the whole process gets set back now. And it turned into a bit of chaos, and they managed to now scrape it together, but it would have been a lot easier if he just sat back for another 5 seconds and waited.
That shield was used. Are they going to block him going forward? Are they going to pick another exit?
This
he's on his own.
Man you want to have with the soul.
So I don't know where to go. He's going to sneak across the other side, and there's a lot of players on the left by the power-up that spawns in a moment. Garpy did just dive to Faz, actually.
I like how you say a flying robot snuck across the map.
Yeah, maybe works.
Somehow.
The damage, look at that. You can see the plasma trail everywhere. Bye-bye, Garpy. He's done for. So is Hell. What kind of frag run are we going to be getting from Tox at the moment? And it looks like they're just trying to stay out of his way.
Yeah, there's they've got the soul, they've got the obelisk. Tox can just go around and be a nuisance. Well, a bit more than a nuisance.
No, that's it. And power up are now gone. We are going to be looking at maybe an attack coming from myztro once more. They need to coordinate though perfectly. I wonder if the shield is up for Garpy, as that's really what signifies the incoming attack.
It looks like it's now.
I mean, he's on there.
And he throws it up to Hell.
Oh wow, that was good.
That is a very well-refined strategy. Oh dear.
Uh-oh. He should. Oh my god, it's close, and he's going to be attacked by Noctis.
Oh,
he's not got his movement bang on, and it's cost them something. Did they just get it on the point? They might have grabbed it.
That is the definition of a commentator's curse. Apologies, myztro.
And Faz eventually swinging back to his base. I don't think myztro just wasn't quite able to make what they wanted with it. The soul went down. I think he tried to throw it for a second.
Yeah.
The thing is, right in the early stages of sacrifice, you could throw it back on the point. And so I don't know if that's a habit that.
Well, I thought he used the ability, but it was not on cooldown, so I was completely wrong. Doesn't matter. myztro coming back in now.
Yeah, they are getting a decent amount of frags. Vu lurking on the sideline needs to get this frag onto the Nyx. And it's only seconds away before something else happens. And Hell, again,
Nice
he
Hell.
gets enough time to throw it, but there's no teammates there. It's just going to be chucked back.
Bull of a robot flying up the stairs. And it's power-up time. And great, myztro got this securely, and it's a battle suit.
Who grabbed it just then? I didn't get to see who picked up the soul. Okay, it's Vu who has it, but he's barely got any health at all. Vu, and he just walked into 2 players. No, it's the wrong way. Noctis takes it back. Now it's on Hell. He's got to get the frags and do something, but he's on 10 points of health. The protection's there, taken by Faz on this occasion. We've got 5% left, and that attack just went horribly wrong for myztro.
It looks like the scoreline, it's not a flattering scoreline, but the way in which it was played, it was very back and forth. It was just a few mistakes in the mid game, like like Hell not reaching the point because of a bit of a mishap on his movement, etc.
Them happened twice, I think, in fact.
You could be right. And just small things like that against the best teams are going to cost you the map. And it would have been a lot closer. I'm not saying they would have won, but still.
Yeah. Well, we'll move on to round 2. NOTOFAST looking for the clean sweep to get 2-0-2-0 in this series in order to secure their spot at QWC for Quake. And it's going to be 1 second until that soul pops up. We've got Sturmy with the Nix.
Sturmy, absolutely perfect.
Well, who's dropped that? What the hell? Hypno just went mental. He's going to be able to grab it up to the top.
Goes to their favorite point.
Give this man some health. He lands 1 rail, does a bit of damage before going down. Could be happy with how he performed just then. And it's on to myztro, guys. How much can they defend here?
It looks promising now. They are set up, but again, not too fast. Keeping out until they are 4. So that again shows the
neutral frag just then between Hell and Tox.
Just the discipline of the team is what I wanted to say. Yeah.
And that's definitely important. It's part of the discipline, but also, are they going to be able to fend off the attacks? It's now, how good is that reactive game going to be? Tox moving away. They're not attacking the point directly just yet. They're just kind of trying to get the frags done first, and then they're going to move on. Now Faz, 29% got by myztro. It is a decent amount. Nice little jump. I like that.
Well practiced.
But there's a lot of players in front. He doesn't know. Okay, he's going to assume that it's not safe, but he might try and sneak on instead. They haven't found him. That will allow NOTOFAST to get themselves on the point and start knocking down that obelisk.
And here comes the shield play.
They're very quick on that, actually. It's going to be throw to mid.
You just saw there from Vu's pop the exact strategy. As soon as Garpy got on point, Vu straight up the stairs, because that's where they throw it to.
And Hell maybe going below up the bounce pad is better, because the other directions he's been going, he's been missing a lot of his shots. This is nice from Hell. He's going to die, but he's managed to do some good damage and have the plasma trail. And that would have done something. But during that time, Tox has taken the soul back, and Sturmy, with the protection, he is going to be racking up frags. Shots being missed by Hypno onto Sturmy. But they might even assume that, right, we're not going to be able to do much for another 10 seconds while he's got this power up.
Yep, and
we'll go in next.
This time it's good. If they're not dying, probably waiting for Garpy to get a few more shards and now respawn before they make their next attack. So I'm quite happy with them pushing in, but it also shows the positions of NOTOFAST are all prepared for this.
Sturmy, I think he jumped over that last rocket, who eventually takes him down. How much is he going to be holding on? Trying to dodge through staying behind that obelisk. And that was Garpy. I don't believe he used his shield. There weren't enough teammates just there. And I'm seeing some kind of like attacks one at a time. It's not really in unison at all.
Yeah, but the Sorlag was just spamming rockets, and he hit a few really powerful ones.
Oh, interesting. Actually, Garpy did manage to make that work for just a moment. Noctis, the amount of damage with that pummel.
Noctis was just waiting for where they were throwing the soul. It's a common tactic, so the defensive opportunity to let them do it and just stand to where they want to throw it as well.
They're getting fortunate with some of these attacks, in my opinion. But they are generally attacking 1 or 2 people at a time, and gradually more players kind of chip into the fights. They really need to make sure that their attacks are super coordinated. They do eventually pass the soul over to Vu, who's able to bring it back, and we're seeing a defensive use of the clutch shield.
I'm happy with that. I don't know if you saw when Vu came up, there was the slash ability being used. That was Toxic knowing where Vu was coming and trying to prevent him from doing it. So again, just all these little things are just smart things that the players know what to do at the right times.
Protection, this is bad. I believe that's Faz who's got hold of it. And Noctis during that time has brought it back. Faz is going to be back for defense as well. Who is going to be able to kill him?
This is painful now. They've got another 20 seconds or so just to hold out with the protection up.
Well, myztro is basically halfway on their obelisk percentage points, but NOTOFAST is quickly getting to that top end of the requirements.
And they are 30% away from QuakeCon.
But you know what? People might be expecting a sort of emotional reaction from players making it to QuakeCon to compete in the Quake World Championships. But for NOTOFAST, I mean, this is a kind of an expected for them. What they're looking, they will be unsatisfied unless they win the whole event.
100%.
That's the type of players that we're looking at, and what they see in themselves and what they see their capabilities and potential being. I think it would be a huge disappointment for them not to get first place.
They're still, myztro still in this. We've seen a lot of 99.99s today, so...
Oh, Vu, you're a beautiful human.
You're an Anarchy lover. I think Vu just scared Garpy, and that's why Garpy used the shield.
What?
Yeah, he popped it with no enemies around. I'm pretty sure something like that happened.
Yeah, that's got to be careful of that. Ooh, the Ghost Walk just comes out. That's Sturmy. He's managed to get the soul. He's going to throw it over to mid. Is there a player who can pick it up? It's Faz. And actually, myztro did manage to get over to 77% to NOTOFAST 76, but that is quickly changed. And Noctis suiciding in the end just then.
And then you've got a very healthy Tox with the lightning gun just cleaning up.
Question is, can this power-up do anything for myztro? Have we got enough time?
But he's alone.
Oh, wow. Good use of that. I don't know if there's really going to be much time. The power-up comes up in just a second.
I don't think they can even afford to even think about that, though.
They've just got to get on there. There's Hell. He's grabbing it, but he needs to hope that his teammates... Oh, they can't do it. That is the round that is going to be going over to NOTOFAST in the end. They've done it. They've made their way. They're going to be going over to the Quake World Championships. And actually, in fairness, they do look pretty chuffed. They're content
I would
to
hope
get it out of the way. Oh, they've got.
I know it's an expectation, but it's still an amazing relief to know you've done it. I think after yesterday, with all the big disappointments, when they were almost certain they were going to qualify.
I think players like Tox and Noctis, they have a bit more stern and a bit more kind of, you know, flat-faced. Their emotions. Yeah, that's a better description. I think they're waiting for the grand final to QuakeCon.
Yes, exactly. I mean, as you said before, in their minds, that's the only thing that matters. Everything else is just a blip on the way they need to overcome, really.
No, indeed. Any highlights for you for NOTOFAST?
It was just solid. As we said earlier, everyone knows their roles. They're all performing extremely well. Amazingly disciplined on the defense once they've got set up. And that, for me, is the scariest part, is how they can control the map and really choke out any other teams that are wanting to attack that obelisk.
So they've definitely got something that the other teams are struggling against at the moment. Guys, we're going to bring it back over to the analyst desk to break down that game a little bit more. We'll send it over to them now.
Noctis, Faz, Sturmy, and Toxic. They are going to the World Finals at QuakeCon 2017. Congratulations, NOTOFAST. A second team advances out at the European Regionals. Gentlemen, 2-0, 2-0. I mean, signs of both life, power, and honestly, the spark that we said. This was a team that was coming into this kind of as the best European team. We said if we put these individual skills together, and honestly, we can get something magical. And what we just witnessed was a magical thing.
Oh, definitely. Like, I spoke about it before, but when you have 4 top duelists, it's either going to go wrong or they're going to go big. And for them to go out like that in 2-0-2-0 fashion, that's fantastic. And going to QuakeCon now, going through the winners bracket, they're going to have a nice seed going into it.
Well, talking about, the teams and how you can take a lot of individual players, put them together, and they might not perform well, and they might play selfish. This is something we, talked about in the desk earlier on. It's really hard to get out of that mindset of playing for yourself and be like, oh, I'm bottom of the kill table right now. I want to go out and get some kills. But we saw a lot of individual play, for instance, out of Faz, playing support for the team, the one who's playing really defensive. He realized, we need a defensive player. We need a guy protecting instead of trying to be aggressive and be the guy to get all the glory. He realizes, I'm going to put myself, my own pride aside. I'm going to play selfless and make sure we can pick up the victory. And they did just that, which I have to give credit to the whole team of, growing as players in general to fit the roles that they need without having to feel like they have to be the ones to really perform and shine to get, the glory.
Oh, definitely, especially on this map as well. Tox had some fantastic rails, and I think we've seen the Tox we know and love. I think after yesterday, after he had a bit of a blip, I think he's come back with a fresh mentality. It's a new day, and I think we definitely have seen the Tox, which we, like I said before, we know and love. But the things though, like before, like if we played how we did yesterday, it would have been a little bit more, you know, not one-sided. But the thing is though, like with myztro, would have given him a little bit more of a chance. But that's the best thing about Not Too Fast, is the fact that not only have they clearly qualified, they're going to be really good against NA as well.
I mean, when we look across, though, at the team that hasn't qualified in myztro, it's still scary to think that Vu doesn't yet have a seat over at QuakeCon.
That's it would be an unfortunate thing, wouldn't it? It really would.
Yeah.
I mean, at the same time, there is positives that I did see out of myztro in that game. I love their soul control that they started to do towards like the later half of the actual match, where, for instance, they had the soul, and they realized, yeah, well, we know they have the spawns on us. We know they're all back in. They're actually sitting around our obelisk. So what they did was they would sit in the mega room on Runes of Sarnath, where the rocket launcher is, wait. Just literally wait for them to come to them, or try to bait them out, or hope the rest of his team can pick up kills. And Vu sits there. In the meantime, his teammates bait them in, they pick up the kills, then they turn it in. Like little things like that, little nuances that haven't necessarily fully been discovered within Sacrifice, the actual game mode, since a lot of these players are still new to it, is really cool to see. And I think that's something that they did extremely well.